was a globalist.
Hey, what's up, guys? I know I've vlogged too many times today, but today I'm gonna say live is probably gonna go more than 30. But here we go. I only got 16%, so I probably won't be vlogging long. So I probably won't be vlogging for long. But
and so you put the baby and then one of them takes the battle on the other. You put the kids on a playground. One is the boy watching the ball. You put them natives in the woods. One of them is the Indian chief. And you put them in the inner city, one of them is a gang. And all of whom is, in a sense, they get 4 or 5 gang leaders. And so it's a hierarchical system. If you are friends with the king, you are more equal. If you are not friends with the king, you are less equal. And if you are you're dead. And so now the teenager faces mandatory manslaughter charges, prison sentences, and your sister comes begging to you and says, you're not going to let my little Johnny get locked away half his life, are you? What are you going to say to your sister? Well, I'll let little Johnny off the hook this time, but don't let it happen again. Guess what? As soon as you say that, you are the corrupt dictator. You just send ripples through your kingdom, that if you're family or friends with the king, you get special treatment. Not family and friends, you don't get it. And if you want to point out the corruption of the king, he's going to want to shut you up. And so it just repeats itself. And so they call them divine right of kings, the creative king, and he dispenses it to the people. And so in the 1600s, you have the King of France controls the global empire. His name Louis XIV, the Sun King, because his subject were planets that revolved around him. He says, "I am the state."
they're not wet
on
this side.
It's legal because I wish it. Oh, well, that's easy. The law is nothing more than the king's wishes. And you just happen to have a powerful army to make you obey. And then here's the British Empire at its greatest extent. And the King of England said, kings are God's lieutenants upon earth, sit upon God's throne. The king is the overlord of the whole land, master over every person, having power over the lives and death of everyone. And so the most powerful king is the King of England. It took centuries before America was given the chance to break away from that king. And so we have a polarity change. Instead of a top-down form of government, we have a bottom-up form of government. And so it's a polarity change in world government. It's the difference between a dead pyramid and a living tree, where every root and every little capillary root sucks in nutrients to help make this thing live. Every citizen is needed to help make this thing work. So Daniel Webster said, miracles do not cluster. What has happened once in 6,000 years may not happen again. Hold on to the Constitution. If the American Constitution shall fail, there will be anarchy throughout the world. And then another quote from James Wilson, after he signed the Declaration. After a period of 6,000 years since creation, the United States exhibits in the world the first instance of a nation assembling voluntarily and deciding that system of government under which they should live. So here, the founders noticed something really different was happening with America, and it's because you get to be the king. Right? The Bible even says that he's made us kings and priests. And so it's the word difference between subject and citizen. Kings have subjects who are subjected to their will. The word citizen is Greek. It means co-ruler, a co-regent, a co-king. We're all co-kings, right? You get to be in charge of your life, and then together we get to be in charge of what happens in the country.
Talking about cocaine.
And so let's look at a little history to see how it winds up in America. So the Byzantine Empire was in the 550s, and it was all Christian, and they got into a whole lot of the government dictating what people were to believe, and it started arguing over doctrine. But then something happened. Muhammad comes along. And he turned from a religious leader to a political leader to a military leader.
No.
Within 5 years of him coming into the city of Medina, there's not a Jew left. And within 5 years of his death, every pre-existing culture in Arabia is wiped out. And then we see the Muslims conquer Yemen, which used to be a Jewish kingdom. And then the Ephesus and Galatia, Corinth, all those cities. And so the Greek Christians beg the West for help. The West needs help. It's called the what? The Crusades. There's 9 major crusades in 200 years. When they end, the Muslims continue to invade into Europe. And Constantinople, and in Greece, all the Greek scholars begin to flee. And now, when they conquer the land routes to India, that's when Columbus set sail looking for a sea route. Columbus would have never set sail over here had it not been for the Muslims conquering the land there. And so, as the Muslims are invading Greece, they're destroying libraries and museums and artwork. And so the Greek scholars flee to Florence, Italy. We call this the Renaissance. And the Greek scholars also flee with their Greek New Testaments. So for the first time in 1,000 years, Christians in Western Europe can read the New Testament in the original Greek language. And this interest in the original Greek lays the foundation for the Reformation. And so Martin Luther starts the Reformation, and meanwhile the Muslims surround Vienna, Austria. Suleiman the Magnificent, 100,000 Muslims, and Martin Luther says the Turk is the flesh of Antichrist, which slaughters bodily by the sword. Another place he says the fight against the Turks must begin with repentance. We must reform our lives, or we shall fight in vain. Our sins and ingratitude have earned God's wrath. So he justly gets into the hands of the devil and the Turk. And so the Muslim Sultan in the 1500s controlled this whole huge area, which used to be Christian. His counterpart is the Catholic Holy Roman Emperor Charles V of Spain. So we're talking kings in the 1500s. These are the two most powerful kings on the planet. Now, Charles V is Catholic, and from his point of view, he has a double problem. Protestant Reformation on one hand, Muslim invasion on the other hand. And so he's like, man, I got problems on the inside, problems on the outside. He does something unprecedented. He makes a deal with the Protestants. It's called the Peace of Augsburg in 1555.
Are you going outside?
It's the first treaty ever to recognize Protestants legally. And in this treaty is a little Latin phrase, cuius regio ius religio, which means, whose is the reign, is the religion. In other words, look, Protestant king, believe whatever you want in your kingdom. Let's just work together against these Muslims who are invading Europe because they want to kill us all. So, for the first time, each king decided what's going to be believed. So in northern Germany and Sweden, there were Lutherans, Switzerland, Calvinists, Scotland, Presbyterian, Holland, Dutch Reformed, Greece was Greek Orthodox, Spain, Portugal, France, Austria, and so forth remained Catholic, and England Anglican. So prior to the Muslim invasion, all of Western Europe was Catholic. And when the Muslim invasion happened, it was so serious, this Catholic Holy Roman Emperor, Charles V, decided to let every king believe what he wants in his kingdom. And now Europe's thrown into this mass migration, people shifting all around. And then we see it was one Christian denomination per country. What the king believed, his kingdom had to believe. If you didn't believe the way the king did, you were persecuted and you fled. And so the King of England was Henry VIII. He was originally Catholic, and his wife didn't have a son, and so he decides to divorce her. The Pope won't